Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in a bag of a can. I can make it round the world with the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World.
You're now listening to the Brothers of the Five. At shooting guard, it's your boy, Killer Cam. At small forward, it's Reggie Love. At point guard, C Major. At power forward, I'll be. And at center, Mr. Noise, Lloyd Spence. And now, the Brothers of the Five.
Add one more plus me and
It's going to be a fun night tonight, and that is because we have a very special guest on the podcast tonight, none other than one of the hosts of a growing podcast, a very fast-growing podcast out there in these streets. Get over to Instagram, you can check them out because they be doing their thing. Two grown amen.
What's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Man, it's good to have you in the building, brother. And I see you decked out in the Niner game gear, so you have made your allegiance very, very clear. We understand.
Yes,
now,
sir.
What I don't see is Reggie Love in your coach gear, man. What's going on, Reg?
Hey man, have a Coke and a smile, man. Just
I'm sorry, yeah, Reggie.
He better go in with Broncos colors at this point.
I understand, Reggie. I'm gonna star you out, brother. I'm gonna star you.
I tell you, boy. I say somebody win a game or two, boy. They don't know how to act. I just want to.
No, I know how to act. You ain't heard me say nothing, Reggie. I'm quiet because I'm grateful. Listen, this is one of them times where the Lord has blessed you and you can keep your mouth shut and receive them blessings. When you've been down for so long, brother, them blessings come down. You like, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Keep your mouth shut.
Oh,
Hey,
Well, listen, man, before we get into any of that football talk, we do have breaking news today, right around 1, 2 o'clock Eastern time, Standard Time. The news broke that Robert Sarver, the owner of the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury, has started the process of selling the Suns and the Mercury. I started to download his reasons as to why he was doing it, but it was such BS that I didn't think it was a waste of time to even read it. He clearly has learned nothing. He gave some nonsense about, I was going to take the year and get myself together and try to figure out where I'd made my mistakes. But since we in such a council culture, I see that I'm no longer valuable to the league and blah, 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 blah. Brother, have several seats, okay? Have several seats. But anyway, what are y'all thoughts? And it's funny because we talked about this ad nauseum last week about this, and some of the guys felt like, the NBA player should have said something prior to. Why did they speak out prior to? And I kept saying, listen, man, number one, you got to let the process play out. And then number two, they have spoken out, and not only had they spoken out boldly with LeBron and Chris Paul both saying it, but then also with Draymond maybe putting the nail in the coffin saying, I think the NBA owners have to have a vote and vote him on out. And man, not even 24 hours after Draymond drops that podcast and PayPal is saying they're out, man, it looks like that the tenure of Robert Sarver is quickly coming to an end. The NBA has already released their statement saying we agree 1,000% that he should do this. But I ask you, gentlemen, now that we see how this is played out, and by the way, the timing was not lost for me as well, because Monday, what happens Monday? Everybody goes back to training camp. So the last thing the NBA wanted was 32 teams and 500 players in front of microphones saying, oh, and by the way, Robert Sarver. So that's going to play in a loop on every city in America that has an NBA team if they had let that happen. So your thoughts, gentlemen, as to what you think about what took place with that breaking news.
I'll let our special guest go first, man.
Appreciate that, gentlemen. No longer are the days of shut up and dribble. I think this is a great example of, athletes being more than just athletes. And, oftentimes that we in society depend on these athletes to stand up and be the voice of reasoning and, so on and so forth. I think this is a combination of not only the players standing up, but the advancement of social media. That message gets out there fast. Yeah. And people have, as a consumer, they have a right to know. If I'm vested as a player or even a consumer, someone that purchased the product and go to the game, I want to know who I'm dealing with. And for, just like you said, I think this is a great example of, have several seats, because he still doesn't get it. But, I think this is a great example of also, too, why ownership is important. We also need to have a stake in the game so that when these type of things happen, this type of BS happens, that we can quickly put a fork in it and still let due process play out. But you know what? If this was completely about one specific group, but it wasn't, then that's the thing that really kind of hits home, where it's like the NBA finally got this right, because initially they didn't. It was, a 1-year ban. Then what came out of that is like, well, what about the LA Clippers coach? He was forced to sell the team. So I think yeah. They were backpedaling and realized, like, oh crap, we got to do something about this. We got to get in front of this media storm and make a wrong right. And I think they did just that.
Now, Jamal, I agree with everything you said, but the part that I did think the NBA did get it right. You think about, because there was nothing ever proven for them to really just say, hey, you're banned. So they did because from what I'm understanding, that was the largest fine that was ever given out. It was $10 million. And plus the suspension. So it's almost like you think about what's the quarterback for Cleveland?
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. Nothing was ever proven in a sense. So they can only do so much. Now, the NBA, I think the NBA got it right. Now, what I do like is the players said, you know what, let's push a little harder, because they have a voice that helped push it not only through the players, but through the social media, which I do agree with you. But I do agree the NBA got it right, because with the investigation came out that said nothing was, it was wrongdoing, but nothing was actually he was never charged with anything in a sense, what I'm saying. So, I think the league was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they can only, kind of get it right down the middle. But, they would have been, if they would have completely said, you got to get out of here, they would have been tied up in court for years and years and years, I believe, because he would have said, well, hey, I got investigated, but nothing was ever charged. Nothing was ever found, from what I'm understanding. So, but we know things happen now. I'm not denying that at all. We know it happens. So, but the only unfortunate thing about the situation, he's finna walk away with a fat check. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah. He's not falling down. He's falling up.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely know everything you guys said was right on point, man. What's 10 million to a billionaire though? So, I mean, he's gonna get his money on the front end or the back end. So that $10 million he lost, he's gonna get it right back. But definitely, holding these guys accountable because it is a players' league, so they do have a voice. And unlike other leagues, they definitely step out in front and want to make changes in their league, and the players definitely care about what's going on. So I definitely I wanted to hear what Chris Paul had to say, and I definitely got to hear what he had to say, and that's a big part of the team. So I think Byron Allen, this is your shot.
Well, listen, that'd be nice, and it would definitely be a huge moment for Byron to step in there. I'm sure you're gonna see a lot of names in making the bid for that franchise. I mean, what a great opportunity for somebody, because I mean, you talk about a franchise that's built to go right now. Man, they're in a good position. But let me say this too. The investigation, while he didn't commit a quote unquote crime, the levels of immorality that took place with this are beyond criminal to me. I mean, come on. How this went on for so long, but I get it because it's your boss, and people are afraid to say to whistle on their boss, and then who hears the tiny man over the billionaire. So I get it. I get why people haven't said anything. I get why it's went on for so long. I actually heard Richard Jefferson say, that he's known Robert Sarver for 15 years, and he knew this. He's heard stories like this for 15 years. So I get it. I hate that it has gone on for so long, and I hate that he's going to fall up into billions of dollars. But at the same time, I also am grateful that, for all of the people that have been abused, that have been demeaned, that have had to live under this cloud of just everything that's so negative in this situation. I'm glad that they will be able to have some peace of mind and know that everything's okay with
it. And I hate to say it, do we look at this the same way we look at Deshaun Watson?
I do. I do, because I know something has happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know everything that has happened, but I know something has happened, and I know people have been hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
So
exactly.
whatever their interpretation of what is taking place is, I know that something has happened. So I actually think that Deshaun is worse, but that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, I'm sorry that this was worse than the Deshaun, but that's a whole nother conversation.
But I'm not here to judge which wrong was heavier than the other wrong.
Exactly. It's all wrong.
It's all wrong.
Yeah, it's all wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? I think also too, and you guys brought up a really good point. I think this is also an opportunity to show what the NBA is really all about too, because we have this problem in the NFL where black ownership. There seems to be such a problem with black ownership, and let's call it for what it is that when we say that the NBA is a lot more progressive than all other leagues, will prove it. Let's prove it. This is an opportunity where we show all these billionaire owners that happen to be black. Let's take a colorblind approach to this and say, hey, look, if we're saying there's justice is colorblind, well, let's also show it. I think you guys bring up a good point with the comparison of with Deshaun Watson. While we don't know all that what happened, we are smart enough to connect the dots and say there is a lot that did happen. And I don't think either one of those gentlemen would want any of this stuff to go any further, which is why they settle.
For sure. Now that's the other part. I can, and see, that was one of the things I was trying to explain last week. Man, behind the scenes, the NBA knows what this is.
Exactly.
And they know how bad this can get.
Yeah.
And so I guarantee you they haven't slept in 2 weeks, because they know if we don't nip this in the bud and quickly, this is going to be as bad as the Deshaun Watson could have gotten.
Yeah.
So let's sell this and get it done as quickly as possible. Yeah.
But and that's why I said the NBA was stuck, because it's kind of one of those things. Am I going to be tied up in court for 5 years fighting this guy? You know what I'm saying? Or, but I think it went the way it was supposed to. I think that, like I said, the players got involved, social media got involved, and then that actually, to be honest with you, that helped the NBA in this decision, because now you're like, okay, I'm out now. He's saying I'm out, so it saved the NFL. I'm sorry, no NBA. I'm sorry, the NBA.
Yeah, no. You're 1,000% correct. But I'll also add this part, Reggie. One of the reasons why you never want to go to litigation in these type of situations is my computer's failing me right now, but that's okay. One of the reasons why you never want to go to litigation in these type of situations is because now everything is on the table. Every conversation you've ever had is on the table. So if there's other guilty owners, Robert Sarver can call those guilty owners in to question. So and believe me, he would. Why wouldn't he? I would. If I'm fighting for my life and fighting for my reputation, y'all calling me out, I'm calling y'all out. Same thing with John Watson. So I understand why this got dealt with the way that it was dealt with.
Yeah, I would recommend, Reggie said, watch Operation Flagrant Foul. That was very enlightening on how the NBA works and how they want to dead stuff. So I definitely.
You want to get this resolved as quick as possible.
Exactly. I hate to jump. I'm glad you said it. Let's be honest. It's some more referees should have went down on this situation.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen.
Exactly.
To be continued.
You know what's interesting about this though too, and it's kind of gone zero dark 30 on it, but it's the same comparison when you think about the NFL and with the Washington Commanders. Notice that everything that's going on there is some high, powerful profile people that are involved in that. And guess what? Hey, let's be real. Chucky was the fall guy. Now, heinous, but he was the fall guy. And notice how you haven't heard anything about that. They kind of they're letting it die. You know what? Hey, this thing that's going on with this NBA owner, good. Yeah, good for Washington. And because that thing right there would implicate a lot of powerful owners and people, even outside of the NFL.
Well, let's look, and then we'll go to the next topic on after this. But let's look at what you just said. They got Chucky's emails. Well, he emailed somebody.
Yeah,
exactly.
He emailed somebody. They received the email, and I'm sure they responded.
Yeah. And there probably was a CC on there too. No.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Copies and everything else.
We don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes, and so we got to know and understand that the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, none of these people want that kind of smoke. No. So, because racism right now ain't popular in this country, despite what Agent Orange is trying to do, it's not popular. So. When these corporations find out that you have a certain mindset, look how fast PayPal was like, we out of here.
Right.
Yeah. So it's an interesting situation, but I'm glad that it got resolved as quickly as it did. And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. We are blessed to have a 49er fan in the house tonight. Niner gang is in the building. But I will say it was a tough day for Niner fans. This past Sunday, and I'll say this too, and then I definitely want to, Jamal, I want to toss this to you first. I felt for that kid. If you watch the play, it was a tough play to watch, and you knew immediately it was bad. But then, if you're like me, if you're a journalist like I am, I kept saying this is worse than bad because he ain't played. He has not played. Nobody really knows what he is. So the question tonight, starting off the show, Trey Lance in San Francisco, will he ever start again? I'm not saying he's not going to play again, but will he ever start for the 49ers ever again?
I think that's an excellent question. And for Kyle Shanahan's career as a San Francisco 49er head coach, he better. Because the angle and the approach that I want to take on this is that Trey Lance didn't draft himself.
Mm.
Kyle Shanahan and the organization drafted him. And so whether, there's been speculation that Kyle never wanted to draft him. He wanted to draft Mac Jones. Here's what I will say, that the front office, they do a very good job about not letting anything leak. But one has to question that how Kyle Shanahan uses Trey Lance as a first year starter. I get all that, what people are going to say, well, he's not so familiar with the offense and all that. And I would challenge anybody to say, I think that's hogwash. Watch the games. I am an avid diehard 49er fan. I watch the games and I break it down. And for anybody who just watched Sports Center to just say, hey, I saw the highlights. Well, I saw the games.
Right,
so
right.
The reason why I want to bring that up.
Come on, Jamal, you preaching already.
Time out. Jamal, if you can give me some pound right here, brother, I get this right here, brother. That's all I
When I tell you, there's so many layers to it. It's so many layers, because what I will say is that everything that you heard about Trey Lance coming out of college, North Dakota State, is that they run a pro-style offense. He's a very cerebral quarterback. He comes from under center. They run a pro-style set. So all these things that, if I will say this, that if his complexion may have been different, such that of Mac Jones, we might be talking about, how great he is. Now, in the first 2 games that I watched him this year start, against Chicago in a monsoon, that I'm never going to judge any quarterback in a game like that. But I must say that people is really kind of telling that some people will dissect every incompletion that he made and that interception he threw, but they don't want to look at the completions that he made. Trey Lance can run that offense. He can run it efficiently. He can make the throws that Jimmy G cannot make. And the reason why I want to bring that up in comparisons to the plays that Kyle Shanahan has dialed up for his rookie, so-called his first year starter. He's not a rookie. It's his second year, first year starter.
Right.
That in comparison to the plays that he's calling for Jimmy G, look night and day. And some will say, well, he doesn't know the offense that well. I disagree with that. He knows the offense completely well. If not, I've watched him already kind of call some audibles into the right play. And then also too, how kind of eerily really familiar with what Kyle Shanahan dialed up for RG3 when he was an offensive coordinator with Washington, and his dad was the head coach. RG3 has been on record saying, I don't want to run the RPO. I want to sit back and throw the same passes that Kirk Cousins throw. And so it makes you wonder, did Kyle Shanahan really want to draft him? But nonetheless, if he did not, it's on Kyle Shanahan. Every one of these picks, you're the head coach, you're the CEO, run the ship. And so for Kyle Shanahan's career going forward with the 49ers, Trey Lance better start, because we gave up too much to get him.
Well, can I jump in real quick? I'm gonna make mine very quick. I think Kyle Shanahan is in a lose-lose situation, because if Jimmy Garoppolo performs to form like he has been, why in the world were you trying to get rid of him in the first place? You look crazy. So that's a loss. But if Trey Lance doesn't come back from this, it all falls back on you, because you put him in a situation in the first place. So I think he's in a lose-lose situation. But let me also speak to Trey Lance. I think he's in a tough situation, because 4 years, man. Because listen, let's be honest. It'll be really 4 years before you can really see him back to where he is, back to where he could be. Really functioning at a high level. Maybe even 5. Because that year that he comes back, he's still technically kind of rehabbing. So you're only going to be able to do so much with him in the offense. So I feel for the kid, because if Jimmy G plays at a high level, then how do you justify to the fan base how do you justify to the organization, to the team itself, going back to trade when you got a solid dude here that technically has never done anything wrong other than lead you to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game? So I don't know. I think they're all, the Niners are in a weird place, man. We've never seen anything like this in football.
I have to, and I'll shut up from here on out. I have to say this because I think that's the illusion and the mirage that, notice what you said, that Jimmy G led them to the Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game just last year. And I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly because guess what? The defense and Debo led last year.
Well, that's what they say. You're right. You're right. That's what they say.
You notice how I think we're so accustomed watching the NFL to always give the glory to the quarterback, and we got to be careful about where we give the credit and also the blame. So what I will say, Mina Kimes kind of summed this up perfectly last year. That she said it's like being a part of a group project, and you have 3 people that are contributing, they're all into it, and you got that 4th member that just, they're just there along for the ride. Now, I will say I'm not going to be that harsh on Jimmy. It's not Jimmy's fault. Jimmy's so far, he's gotten you to where his ceiling can take you, and that's the thing. I agree with making the decision to upgrade a quarterback, and Jimmy's ceiling, and Mark, this is going to happen. I know it is. We'll win games. Jimmy will get credited with it. But when you watch Jimmy G's performance, he's not going to throw the out routes. He's going to throw in the middle. The defense, the smart defenders, when we go up against these teams that are the creme de la creme, they're going to take away what they know he's weak at and force him to throw in the middle. And then I want to see what the fans say about Jimmy G then.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Reggie, Chad, what y'all think about this?
Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm agree totally. I always said when it involves quarterbacks, and I'll say that all the time, it's the system that they play in. I've been saying that ever since I've been on the show.
Since you've been on the show.
So some players could look great in a system and play in another system and look completely horrible. But the Trey Lance, the thing is, you really haven't got a chance to really watch this kid. Like you said, he sat behind Jimmy G all last year, and then right off the bat this year he goes down with the injury. And you make a good point, Jamal. Was that system that Kyle were they fitting that around him, or was they trying to make him just a strictly RPO? And if is he ready for that? In that case, if you're trying to do that, is he ready for that type of? Because that's a lot of reading. That like it's a read pass option. Run pass option. Are you ready for that coming in as a pretty much? Let's say he's a rookie because this is his first year. So I'm in 100% agreement with Jamal. It's like you kind of stuck him out there, and really, are you doing them just like you did RG3 years ago? And RG3 could never stay healthy in that system. So yeah, so I'm 100% behind Jamal on this one. So
all right.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you guys. You definitely don't know what you have, but who's to say Jimmy G will be there in a couple years anyway? So I think you may want to rehab Lance and just see what you have until you want to make a decision or bring somebody else in just for insurance. But you definitely you, like Jamal said, you gave up a lot to get him. So you definitely want to see what you have in them before you decide to ship them out or what you want to do.
I'm sorry. I meant to say that, but here's the situation that San Francisco's in. Next year, Jimmy G is a free agent. What do you do with Jimmy G? And you have a quarterback. You don't know, being a young quarterback with injuries is 90% mental. Mm-hmm. How is this kid going to respond from a broken ankle? You see where I'm coming from?
Right.
So how's he going to respond? So do you take that and say, all right, this kid is going to respond great, and we let Jimmy G walk out? Or do we pay Jimmy G another year?
Well, you're going to have 2 high-paid QBs, so you're going to either
at some point that starts to hit the cap and everything. But I want to say something else, though, just to something that you and Jamal said, because you said, well, we don't know what we got. Well, I have a problem with that, because why don't you know what you have? Yeah, you've had this kid for 2 years. Why don't you know what you have? At some point, Aren't you in Kyle Shanahan supposed to be the offensive guru and he's a genius and he knows how to put it all the way? Okay, at this point in his development, you should know what you have. You should know what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are, and you should already have a plan of growth to where you don't push him out there into stuff that not necessarily that he's not ready for, but this just is an evolution. You don't have to. You know what I love about what the Ravens did? The Ravens didn't thrust Lamar into everything immediately. They, in that first season when he took over, they said, man, we're going to shrink the playbook. This is what you do. Right. Then the next year, we're going to open it up a little bit. Then the next year, we're going to open it up a little more. Now, he has full realm of the playbook, and you're seeing the results. The dude is on fire. I mean, man, we'll get to that in a minute. But I'm saying that should have been what happened with Trey Lance, a guy that hadn't played in basically 2 years. You ease him into the system. You don't thrust him in. So you should know what he is. And then even to your point, Reggie, you ease him back. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't rush him back. You keep him in the pocket. You don't have him doing a bunch of RPO nonsense. Let him get comfortable first on that ankle so that he feels confident. And then you start to, expand the playbook out or whatever. But right now, with a broken ankle, he's got a better arm than Jimmy G.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say this, too, is because I think I'm probably more critical of Kyle Shanahan now more so than ever. And here's why. Because, again, Kyle Shanahan gets credit as being a great offensive mind and guru. And I will give him that. But I don't think he's a good head coach. And I think good head coaches, what they do is it's just like being a leader versus a manager out in the corporate space. That, a good leader, they know how to pick the talent around them. They support themselves with greatness all around. Doesn't mean that they're great at everything, but they recognize where they're weak at. Kyle Shanahan is a very he has a very kind of pompous attitude where he's the smartest one in the room. And I give you a perfect example about what happened around in the locker room when you notice that how everybody will say how great Jimmy G is and hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. We remember selectively. We remember right now, the here and now. We forget about yesteryear. And the reason why I want to bring that up too is just that as an offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan gave up a 28-point lead as the offensive coordinator in Atlanta. Now, he wasn't the head coach. I don't put all that blame on Kyle.
Right.
But you see a pattern here. You see a pattern here.
Hey, now, run the ball 3 times and you got a Super Bowl ring. Let's be honest.
There you go. And so when you think about where Kyle Shanahan, that we talk oftentimes about the players getting better, oftentimes we don't talk about the coaches getting better. And now Kyle Shanahan has had 6 going on to 7 years to get this right. And when I look at how he possibly may have a lot of say so in drafting certain players. So we drafted Dante Pettis in the 2nd round. We moved up to get him. He's not been with the 49ers for the last few years. We moved up his first draft to get one of the best linebackers in the collegiate game, and Reuben Foster. They're not on the team anymore. I say all that to say that it's a lot of players, a lot of wasted talent that we moved up and we moved around to get. They're no longer on the team. So I think Kyle Shanahan, where I would want to see some growth in him as a head coach, is surround yourself with the talent to let people make the decisions and you focus on being a head coach. His offensive coordinator and run game and assistant head coach is not a head coach in Miami. And I'm just saying, look what that synergy he's creating and that how motivated he is with pumping up his team. That's a good sign of a head coach.
Well, I mean, let's move on to question number 2 on that one.
I'll catch up with y'all later.
That was good, man. That was good. Yeah. That brings us into some interesting conversation I know we're about to have here. We're going to start in the NFC. I almost want to start the AFC just based on what you just said. But we're going to start the NFC. We do something here called Best, Worst, and Surprise. So, gentlemen, what are your best, worst, and surprise NFC teams this week? We'll start with our guest again with Mr. Jamal. Or would you like to see how this goes a little bit first?
I'll tell you what. I tell you what. I like to take a seat back and watch the pros.
We'll start with the young man Chad Major, because I have a feeling we're gonna know who his best is off the top.
Maybe not.
Okay, let's see. What you got?
My best is actually know how Jamal's team did the competition. I think that with losing Trey Lance and you have Jimmy G coming back in the fold, beating the Seahawks, even though Gino answering the phone and all the things he was saying.
That line must have been busy this week.
Yeah. I think for him to come in and step right back in when Trey went down, I think that that was pretty pretty cool, because the only other good performance that I can draw out of me is Micah Parsons, man. Micah Parsons, man.
Yeah.
that guy. I can't even put the whole Cowboys in it because they let that game come back and it was on a field goal. But yeah. Micah Parsons, man, that dude.
Oh man,
that dude is something else. That dude is something else. My worst is those Atlanta Falcons, man. Somebody is eating those chicken wings and getting full. I don't know. But I just can't. You got Pitts, you got Drake London. It's quarterback. They need to go ahead and put in Ritter, man. I think that's what I've been saying all along. Go ahead and put in Ritter, see what you got, let him rock, and you're already losing. So
you already losing. So, well, we're gonna get to that in another form here in just a minute.
My surprise team, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals and Kyler Murray closing the game, because last year he was not closing games, and this year, he figured out a way to close the game. So
okay, all right. Reggie Love, would you like to jump on in there?
Yeah, the best team I know you NFC East fans are gonna hate this, but hey, I gotta give the best team to the Philadelphia Eagles. What a game. What a game. Hey, that young quarterback said, you know what? If y'all didn't think I belonged here, I belong here. And he did it both ways. So I got to give the best team to Philly. My worst team, I got to give it to Minnesota for the way they played. The first game of the year to now was terrible. Cousin, you're still paying him that money. He hasn't shown up. Let's look at. Did you see Cook's yardage? Did y'all see Cook's yard?
Yeah.
Horrible. So I got to give Minnesota. And the surprising things, I hate to say it, I got to give it to the Cowboys. There's no way I was thinking that they were going to win that game on Sunday night. There's no way.
Facts.
You almost gave it away at the end, and you got to give it. You got to give it to them. Hey, they held in there. Like I said, the defense is really carrying that team. If that defense can carry it for 5 more weeks, y'all will be okay to be in the mix of things. But the only problem is, if the defense doesn't show up, you guys are in trouble. I'm gonna be honest with you. So
right.
Yeah, that's my best, worst, and surprise there.
Question, real quick. Does Cooper Rush throw a better ball than Dak?
No, stop that.
Well, I'm asking a question, but his anticipation of where he's throwing the ball was better than Dak, though.
But that's deceptive, because I thought the Bengals didn't do a good job pressuring him, because they didn't know they were trying to anticipate what he was going to do. And so they didn't pressure him like they should have pressured him. If they'd have really gone all the way in, I think it would have been a different outcome. But I'm not going to say he throws a better ball than Dak.
I'm not going to say. I'm saying at times he does make passes. And
he makes passes. He makes some good reads.
Yeah, and at times Dak does not. So
let me go. Yeah, good.
I'm not saying he's not a better QB than Dak. No, I'm not saying that at all. But he has passing. If you look at it, at times he does, at times Dak does not. So, I mean, but no, he's not a better quarterback than Dak at all.
No. I just,
No,
I mean, his
and
decision making sometimes is.
I know I'm kind of rambling. Speaking of Dak, if the Cowboys could have used Dak somewhat of the way when he was younger, not now, he's been through so many injuries. The way that Philly used Jalen, if they could have used Dak somewhat of that way when he was younger, how much better Cowboys could have been?
I just don't think I don't think it's the Cowboys though. I think it's Dak. I don't think he's comfortable with that. Like I feel like he's like some quarterbacks who say, I can scramble for 15 yards if I need to. I don't want to. He's like Robert Griffin used to say. Of course I'm fast. Of course I can beat a eagle if I have to in a foot race. But I don't want to. I would rather stand back in the pocket and just make those reads or whatever.
Especially after that injury too.
Right.
That's why I said the younger.
But I don't know if you're wrong, Reggie. I'm just saying I think it's more Dak that doesn't want to do it than it is the Cowboy. I think the Cowboys would love to do it, but he just don't want to be an RPO guy, I don't think. You got it now, Jamal. You feel like you got it, grab it. All right, sir. We'll jump on in there.
Well, I agree with you guys. I'm a little different with my NFC best. I gotta give it to the Tom Brady Buccaneers. That game against New Orleans, like that is a division rival, and that game is always like the black and blue league because I tell you, you got to give it up to Tom Brady, like how good he makes that team. They were without essentially two of their starting receivers because Mike Evans, like I felt like you were watching the NFL and WWE. Mike Evans was throwing those things with his arch nemesis with Lattimore. Like they just have a disdain for each other. But Tom Brady always finds a way to win. He ended up throwing the long touchdown pass to one of his receivers that everybody kind of forgot about. They kind of they stole him away. So to lose Mike Evans and not to have Chris Godwin in the game and to still come out 2-0 against a division rival, I think that speaks so much about who that team is. And notice also too, the first year head coach with the Bucks. Now he went from defensive coordinator to now head coach. I think Tom Brady is benefiting from the best of both worlds because now you have a defensive-minded head coach that you still see that defense that they're stellar, and then you see the balance that I think he allows Tom Brady to still be Tom Brady, but we're going to keep things in perspective. They found a way to win that game, and I thought that was such a great NFC matchup. Now, my worst, I agree with you. The Falcons, they just need to take 2 weeks off and quit. I mean, like,
just quit the whole thing. Oh my goodness!
Yes, it's over, man. Clip those dirty birds' wings right now. And
wow!
You could replace them with the University of Georgia.
It's sad because you know what? They're gonna go through that growing pains of being young. They have some individual talents and spots, but what they're gonna have to do, they're in a complete rebuild, and that's okay. Fight as hard as you can. Get that top first round pick and do something with it because clearly they need some help all the way around, offensive and defensively. So that should be a gimme game every time any one of those, whether it's the Bucks or whether it's Carolina Panthers, play them. That should be
slow down with the Carolina Panthers.
so we'll see what's going on with that. My surprise game, I got to give it to you guys. The Cowboys against the Bengals. I think everybody went into that game thinking that, hey, look, this is the Bengals. This is the AFC representing, championship team that they're going to just start right back where they finished last year. But quiet is kept. They're 0-2. And I know everybody's like Jamar Chase, and you got, T. Higgins and so on and so forth. Joe Mixon out there with a goose egg. Man, y'all made Joe Cool look like Joe who? Y'all put, I think, what was it? He was sacked 6 times?
6 times.
Yeah.
Well, wow. I got to give it up to, and this is paying so much homage and credit to this Cowboys team. I'm a Niner fan. And, we got disdain for each other. That's the rival. But I got to give credit where credit is due. you guys gritted out that game, and you could have easily folded, but you won. And your backup quarterback did what a backup quarterback is supposed to do. You come in there and you win the games that you can win, and that was a winnable game. And y'all did a really good job about sticking to that. I think now I'm gonna say this. This may not be popular, but I think what's gonna happen is y'all gonna see the team that the Cowboys are really made out of. I think the Cowboys have a chance to still win the division, but win it convincingly. Now, I will say this. Y'all still got the Cowboys got their work cut out for them because the Giants look like a better team and Washington appear to be a better team. But I think the rival will be between the Cowboys and the Giants. And I will say this is that the Cowboys on paper doesn't seem to be a better team as they were before, like last year. But I think they're going to be a team that grits out wins, surprisingly.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, my list doesn't look much different than you guys, except I got a little bit more specifics on who my best and worst was. I got more of the players. And Eagles wise, I got to give. And listen, I'm a Giants fan, and I can't believe I'm even talking about the Eagles because I can't stand that team. But I got to give Jalen Hurts credit, and I got to give Darius Slay credit. I need y'all to go back 1 week and remember that Justin Jefferson was a man amongst boys against the Packers. And Darius Slay said, "No, you're still a boy in my eyes, sir." I mean, my God, Darius Slay, I thought this was a game of Monopoly, and he locked him up, and he had to get 3 doubles to get out of jail because he was locked up so tight.
Did you notice that? Did you know that Slay was the same hometown of Ahmaud Arbery? Did you know that?
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, I just saw that. I saw that on the special. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, listen. And by the way, my worst is Kirk Cousins, and even more specifically, that fourth quarter Kirk Cousins went the play at the end of the game was the defining play of the entire game. I don't know if y'all remember, but Kirk Cousins threw the ball, trying to force the ball over to Justin Jefferson, and Darius Slay broke the pass up. He was limping. Instead of saying, Kirk Cousins saying, "Okay, I'm gonna go a different way. This ain't working," he forced it over there again, and Darius Slay intercepted the ball. I said, "Brother, you can't be. You listen. When are we gonna stop believing in Kirk Cousins? When? I've been done.
Yeah, I've been done.
I've been delivered for quite some time.
He's getting guaranteed money each year.
Come on, man. I've been delivered. You listen. I know a football thief when I see one. That brother is out here stealing money, but more power to you because they gave it to you. But man, come on, Kirk Cousins ain't it, and he ain't gonna be it. And so, but my surprise, I'm as surprised as you guys. Listen, man, I didn't expect that from Cooper Rush, and I ain't saying he balled out. I ain't saying he was all world. I'm saying he did what he was supposed to do and kept them in that game. And then in that last drive, he made the plays that he was supposed to make and got them in position to win the game. And that's really all you can ask for from your backup. So if he can just hold down the fort, you're right. They may still. Now, I still as a whole don't think their team is very good, but at the same time, he did what he needed to do. But man, I'm gonna tell you something. If I'd be lying to you guys if I didn't say Michael Parsons didn't have me concerned. My God, he's a man. Now I understand what he is, and what he truly is an edge rusher. That's what he is.
Yes.
He's not a true linebacker. He's an edge rusher, but he's one of the best that I've ever seen. And if they keep him in those type of situations, that's a problem. That is definitely a problem. So
if you can keep those teams second and third and long, you just let them eat.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. That is a problem for every team in the league. So I got to give him credit. I got to give Cooper Rush credit, all the credit, and Michael Parsons all the credit for my surprise. So as we flip over to the AFC, I started off.
Hey, I don't want to talk about the AFC.
Yeah, you got to.
Well,
something's wrong with my internet. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Reggie. You're fine. You coming in very good.
We get you just fine.
No, you coming in very good. I'll be quick, Reggie. Listen, I hope everybody gets a good deal on those big, gigantic coats. I remember them starter coats.
Oh,
Y'all gonna need that and some toboggans and some gloves because it's cold in Buffalo in the winter. Because that's where we going in January.
I told you.
All road to the Super Bowl lead through Buffalo. And man, I'm gonna tell you something. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, which I don't think they are, man, they're not just beating teams, they are dominating teams. And man, that defense, my God. How dumb do the Broncos look right now?
Hey man, hey.
They said, "Oh, Von Miller, he's getting old. He can't do it anymore." Who told you that?
I think that was coach and corporate talk for we can't afford to pay this man.
Exactly. That's what that was. That was all about I can't afford them. Yeah.
And again, how dumb do they look? Because I'm saying y'all kept some of them other bums and decided that y'all couldn't pay Von Miller. I'd have let some of them other folk go and did everything I could. Listen, you don't let go of franchise quarterbacks. You don't let go of franchise linemen, and you don't let go of franchise edge rushers. You don't do it.
I think it was a
It's
trade.
too hard to find.
It was a trade, right?
Trade. I'm just saying, but you don't do that. You don't put them in a trade. Okay, let's look at the two biggest
I'm not saying
names.
you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm just gonna say, how's that worked out for the Raiders? How's that worked out for the Broncos so far?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying the Bills look good to go. My worst is a tie between the Ravens and the Bengals. You can flip a coin and decide who you want to give it to because both of them shot. And let me tell you something. That Ravens defense, whoever they coordinated, they should have fired him Monday morning.
Yeah.
21 points in the fourth quarter, and you can't hold that. You don't have a. And by the way, you know what Tyreek Hill is. He's a speedster. You know what Jalen Waddle is. He's a speedster. He's trying to get on the backside of the defense. Listen, I was watching it with my 13-year-old. And she said, why they let Tyreek Hill beat them on the, so if my 13-year-old, I'm kidding about that. But I'm just saying, if we can see that, surely you should have been able to know that.
Were they in a man? Were they manned up then? I'm trying
They
to
certainly weren't in the zone that they were supposed to be in.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
listen,
happened. Twice.
The only thing that can beat you is Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle going long. That's it. And because Tua, while he played a decent game, obviously he put up. And by the way, I have him in another league in fantasy. He was amazing for me. But he doesn't beat you. He can't beat you if you don't give up those yardage. And to do that with Tyreek Hill twice, I was like, wow, you got to get rid of that dude. That's a big jump from Wink Martindale. But anyway, and unfortunately, that was my worst. Unfortunately, my surprise, I am surprised by the Colts. I am. You have the best running back in the league. And he does everything. He catches. No, I'm just saying, no, Reggie, I'm just saying. He does everything. He catches, he runs, he does everything. So let him do everything. I don't understand why this is so complicated for them right now, but apparently this is rocket science and they haven't figured out rocket science. So that's mine. I'm coming to you, Jamal. Where you going? What direction you going, brother?
And I tell you, how can anybody go against the Buffalo Bills, man? Like right now, they are the star at the top of the AFC. When you look at when you think about how close they came last year, and they didn't have any addition through subtraction. They multiplied their team, adding Von Miller, and that was the key. You know what? Like, I got to give credit to them going all the way back to as soon as that game was over, losing that AFC championship game, that was our being close to getting to the Super Bowl. They were like just a play away from it. But where I got to give them credit, because everybody was like, oh, if they would have had one more chance and all that, they recognized that their issue wasn't offense. It's never been offense. Their issue was they couldn't stop anybody. So they get one of the best pass rushers in the game, and I got to give it to Von Miller. He has become the new Deion Sanders, a man for hire. I am going to call him Spencer for hire from now on. He is going to take his talents to South Beach next. I don't know where he's going to go, but he has a chance to go in a championship game again to win a Super Bowl. So you got to give shouts out to Buffalo. Like, they did a really good job about not losing focus and having a slump this year, they're coming for heads this year.
Oh,
And,
man.
watch
Talking
out.
about focus.
Watch out. So
Wow.
I would say my worst AFC team, I gotta give it to the Bengals because again, the expectation is that they didn't lose anybody, and apparently they should have got better, but I'm seeing a lot of decisions made at the quarterback position from Joe Burrow that he didn't make those bad decisions last year. And then so I'm asking kind of what's the question? What's going on? Is it, is he going through a second sophomore slump? And remember, his sophomore year, he balled out.
Yeah.
But I really think that they're gonna have to, if they don't watch out, if they start out 0-3, oh man, it's gonna be a long year for them.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know what? I will say this, probably surprise performance again. I gotta give it to the Dolphins. I gotta give it to the Dolphins. My surprise performance is that how that game was won by the Ravens. That game should have been won by the Ravens. Lamar Jackson did everything short of winning that game wholeheartedly for his team by himself, and they couldn't. I agree with you. The Ravens defensive coordinator, they need to call, they need to call Ossie Newsome right back and say, hey, we need you. We need you to draft some guys to make our defense just as good as it used to be. Because right now, that's pathetic. I don't know how you lose a game like that. And to answer your question earlier, they were in a zone. But I honestly think that, wrong zone, and then also, too, blown assignments. Because I saw one of those safeties, instead of going to cheetah, which that's where you need to defend.
You got to go to that side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to cheat to that side.
It's all hands on deck, though. You can't be in a nickel. You got to be in a dime.
Yep.
And it's all hands on deck. It's a speed team, man.
Yeah.
I bet you Buffalo gets it right. I bet you Buffalo gets it right this week.
Yeah, and mate, here's the thing: put pressure enough on Tua to force him to run, force him to run. You know what? Because in that decision, in that time, the clock is on your side, Ravens. The clock is on your side. But what's not on your side is that if you don't have enough defenders back there to prevent the cheetah, they call them the cheetah for a reason, and they found out the hard way.
Yeah. All right, Reggie Love, what you doing? What you doing? I know this was a thing.
Hey, I'm gonna stay on the on the road with the best team is Buffalo Bills, no bar none. I mean, I don't know, is Von Miller went to some well and said, hey, give me the youth formula and I'm going to drink it because good. I mean, he's doing it not only on the rush, but he's stopping the run.
Stopping the run. He's everywhere.
Did you see the play that they tried to run outside and he was there?
He ran him down. Yeah.
So, I mean, man, right now, they're hot. I don't see bar injuries. I don't see them losing. I wish the quarterback wouldn't run as much as sometimes he does. He thinks he's a running back, and hey, as you get deeper into the season, those bruises hurt a little bit. Especially when it get a little colder. So, but bar injury, I don't see anybody beating Buffalo right now at this time.
Right.
So,
right.
And my surprise, I gotta give it to him. Jets. Yes. What in the world? Flacco must have went to Bun. What juice were you drinking? Because I'm gonna go right where you went, and I'm gonna throw 300 yards, and I'm gonna throw 4 TDs. I just found him. I'm not gonna say that he's gonna do it this week. I'm just saying last week. So I'm not.
It was something in the air Sunday, wasn't it? It was something in the air.
They got Tom Brady on speed dial because he's in Florida. He going to that Ponce de Leon Fountain of Youth.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, matter of fact, I'm gonna call somebody. Can I go get me some of that juice too?
I need it.
So, my surprise, my worst team, of course. I'm a realist. I don't know what's wrong with the coach right now. I really don't. I'm trying to figure out. Yes, we have one of the best running backs in the league. We have a top 3 running back in the league. I don't know if we're not using. I don't know if. Let's be honest. I don't know if my man Matt. Is he in the flow of the offense because he's not making the right reads or the right passes. I don't know if the receivers are not getting off the line. You know what? My goal is this next game, I'm going to study them as much as I can study them because I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with them. Because in Jacksonville, they just have our number in Jacksonville.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me that Jacksonville is so dialed into the Colts. I don't get that, but man, they got their number.
Hey, sooner or later, listen to him in the first person to say this. By the way, we did lose our offensive coordinator to Philadelphia. He's the head coach there, so that might be part of the issue. But sooner or later, we got to start looking at this coach. Our coach. I love our coach. I love him. But what changes are you going to make? How are we going to reset? How are you going to get this team to ride behind you? Because right now, if you can bring this team together and beat Kansas City this weekend, you'll change the momentum and you'll change the attitude in that locker room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? Before we move on, you know what I like about a lot of, and I hate for any fans team to lose, but it's a part of it. But what I do like about some of these head coaches losing, because we were sold a bill of goods that they were, this and that and the other. When we have the makes of Eric Bieniemy, who's still not a head coach, when we have GMs that should be a GM right now, and Louis Riddick that aren't, you got a lot of so-called smart people in these positions that someone anointed them and said that they were the best and, this and that and the third. I want to see some of these guys get an opportunity to succeed or fail, just like some of these guys get hired and they don't do jack.
Right.
Yeah.
Amen.
But I tell you one thing, Philadelphia got a good hire.
Philadelphia got a great hire. They look good.
My AFC best, worst, and surprise consensus Bills, definitely. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so no, that still holds tight. Looks like. My worst, got to go with the Colts, man. I got goose egg, so I mean, I got goose egg, man, for real. And
my goodness.
The surprise, Bengals going 0-2. I mean, coming off of the Super Bowl, going 0-2, and you're supposed to be putting all this money in the offensive line, and Joe Burrow still running for his life. That's unacceptable. And Jamar Chase only had 14 yards. That's unacceptable.
Let us not forget that the Bengals said we're gonna spend some money. How about $170 million or $190 million or something like that? Yeah. Somewhere between $170 and $190 million in offensive linemen. How's that working out?
And Lyle Collins was signed, and he said, "Joe Burrow, your bodyguard's here," and Michael Parsons ate him for lunch.
In the words of Marcus Spears, y'all need new security. All right. We're going to run through this real quick. The college football ranks, same best, worst, surprise. I'll do mine very quick. Listen, my best until proven otherwise is Georgia. I'm stunned that they're better than they were last year. They're better. That defense is faster and stronger. And they had 5 first rounders, and they're faster and stronger than they were last year. Crazy to me. My worst is Miami. I'm tired. First of all, and I'm gonna say more about this tomorrow on Believe in the ACC with Charlie Ward. Stop talking about Miami's back. They ain't coming back. It's over. That's over. They're just who they are. Okay, now I'm done with that. And then my surprise is Washington. Didn't see that Michigan State loss coming like that. Though some people did predict it. I was like, no, Michigan State's pretty solid. But man, that dude, that coach is making a lot of money to be taking L's to Washington. So I don't know. Maybe the Pac-12 is better than we thought they were. Maybe. I don't know. So I don't know. Reggie, what you think about that?
Man, my best. Man, I hate to say it. Man, Michigan looks great.
They look great, man.
They look great. I'm not necessarily putting them over Georgia. Yes. I gave Georgia the best last week. I'm going to give Michigan the best this week, even though both teams play cupcakes. But man, they handled up like they should have handled up. So You know what? My surprise team, I'm gonna have to say it, and once again, it's gonna hurt my heart. The Razorbacks did not come to play this weekend. We pulled it out with 11, but we were down 17-0 against the FCS team.
Yeah.
So my surprise on the negative side is the Arkansas Razorbacks. You cannot come to Dallas next week playing A&M and think that you're gonna come to beat A&M like that. Yes.
Maybe we'll see.
I'm not a fan of A&M's quarterback situation. I'm not a fan of that. But still, anytime you play an SEC team, you can't come playing like that. So
we'll see. Okay, go ahead.
And my worst, I got to give it to the U. Man, I'm trying to figure out why. I was looking at their quarterback play. Man, it did not look good. Is it me that watched the quarterback play? They did not look good at all on the offensive end.
And that's all I've been hearing all offseason. Oh, Van Dyke. He was terrible.
Well, that's my
He was terrible. It was terrible. Okay. Jamal, what you going with on this one?
Yeah, you got it. I got to go in the same direction with Georgia. They're a powerhouse. Georgia is almost like the new Clemson, where every time they reload, they lock and reload. And you know, it's I think that when you see those matchups between them and Alabama, Nick Saban is he's scared. He's gonna be scared. I can't.
He's seeing it right now. Believe that.
So I gotta give it up. Georgia's looking good, but I got to tell you, my worst team.
Not personal, Marco. It's not personal.
Now this gives me so much pleasure, like Pops from Friday. It's my pleasure to say that the worst is the U. I'm from Florida, and I'm a Florida State fan. I'm a Florida State fan. So my roots go deep. I love to see Miami like this. Miami needs to pick up the phone and, you know, that lifeline saying they need to lifeline Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke needs to rejuvenate those boys. Miami, like you know what? You can't call them the U anymore. Take the turnover chain off, get rid of that, and just call them the University of Miami. Like they don't deserve the U anymore. Okay. My surprise team, and it may be biased, but I think people could agree with me on this, is that Florida State, the Florida State Seminoles, they have been a surprise to me because the year that they had, Florida State unranked anymore. They're not ranked, but to open up the second game of the season to beat LSU, I don't care if it was by half a point, but to beat LSU, I think that's a statement game. And Mike Norvell, he has those boys locked in. Low-key, Florida State defense, I don't think it's a lot of teams that want to see them. Now, the proof will be in the pudding when they go up against UF and the used to be U. But the Florida State Seminoles have been my surprise team and a pleasant surprise at that.
Absolutely. All right. Chad, what you doing?
Yes, sir. So we're gonna go with the best is the Michigan University. You know what I'm saying? We going definitely 50 points in 3 games, 50 points each 3 games. Plus,
I ain't playing nobody, Chad.
It don't matter. My worst.
They look good, Chad. They look good.
My worst is definitely going with Miami, the U. Definitely losing to the Aggies, and also my surprise. I got 2 surprises. I got Florida coming down, barely beating USF, and then I watched the UTSA and Texas game. UTSA was in it until like maybe the 4th quarter. And I think Texas was riding that high of almost beating Alabama, and they shouldn't have let that happen. So
yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna bring a segment back that we, as we close out today. We haven't done this yet. The 5 good picks. We got a couple of games. Real quick predictions from everybody. Obviously, we're gonna do 2 college and 3 pro. Obviously, we got to start with Arkansas, Texas A&M. I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen Texas A&M 3 times now. I am not impressed. I apologize for thinking that Texas A&M was just whatever. I think Arkansas should dominate this game from start to finish. That's my opinion on that one.
I'm going to follow back up with you, even though I am a fellow Arkansas from Arkansas, grew up in Arkansas, and I played against Arkansas. So here's the thing. I'm going to go with Arkansas because I predicted this at the beginning of the season, and it was about 3 weeks ago, and hopefully it will work out. I said Texas A&M or Arkansas will beat Alabama this year. Right now, I'm struggling with that prediction, but that's my prediction. But I'm going to ride with the Hogs on this one.
Okay. I don't think your prediction is that far off, though, Reggie. We'll get into that on another show, but I don't think it's that far off. All right. Chad? You muted. You muted. Somehow you muted there, Chad. There you go.
I'm going to Arkansas.
Okay. Arkansas. Okay. Jamal, our guest picker for the day.
I agree with you. I think we go for the trifecta here. Is Arkansas. I think Arkansas gives them. They're going to give them heck. I really do believe that. And I agree with you when you said, "Hey, Texas A&M, that quarterback play been a little sketchy."
Yeah, a little. All right.
I feel like
that's shaky.
A little. Goodness gracious. My God, man. The second game that we'll pick from the college ranks, the big one this week, is number 5 Clemson. And I forgot to put the ranking on Wake Forest. I apologize, but Wake Forest is also ranked. I am not a believer in Clemson. I am not, and I think this is a game that Clemson might be the first L of the season for them.
I don't know. It could go either way. I think it can go either way, but
For sure go either way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going Clemson on this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Clemson on this one. Wake Forest struggled with Liberty last week. So I'm gonna take Clemson on this one.
I'll say this: Clemson is not the same Clemson we're accustomed to seeing. But as long as Dabo is the head coach there, they're gonna beat Wake Forest. It's a good ACC matchup, but yeah, Clemson got this one.
All right.
Lord, did you say Clemson or you say Wake Forest?
I'm saying Wake Forest, and I'm gonna say it again tomorrow morning. All right, this was interesting, and I put this one on because both of these teams coming into the season, everybody's like, "Man, these could be sneaky Super Bowl contenders," and now both of these teams could be out. Period. They're both 0-2, fighting for their first win. Who you got, Raiders or Titans, Reggie?
I think I'm going to apologize to you guys because I said there's no way that Tannehill was going to be out any part of this year. There's no way. But there's no way. Tannehill looks not the best right now. He's not.
I tried to tell this group, Jamal, that there's a strong possibility Tannehill is not going to be.
Because I was like Tannehill didn't necessarily win games, but he didn't necessarily lose games, but he's losing games now. So I'm going to go with the Raiders over this one.
I go ahead, Jamal. Go ahead.
Man, this is you know what? This is such a tricky matchup because neither of these teams look like they did the previous year, and it's a little tricky.
It's unbelievable.
That shellacking that the Titans got, I know Vrabel is gotten into you know what, and I think that they turn it around this week. I just think the Raiders, they leave too much to be desired, and I think with the Titans, they're gonna lock up on defense, and I think they're gonna grit out a win this week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with the Raiders. I'm not sure what's going on with Derrick Henry, but he needs to have a good performance for them to win. And
run against 10 people. That's what's going on.
That's what I say. He needs to have a good performance, and I think the Raiders are going to be able to. They got the game plan. They're going to be able to stop them. So I'm going Raiders.
In the words of the late great Denny Green, the Titans are who we think they are. They are that terrible. They are that confused. Tannehill is playing that bad, and there is no relief in sight. I'm sorry. Give me the Raiders on this one. I don't see it.
Hey, I bet they're so sorry, and I bet they could press the redo button and get AJ Brown back.
Oh my God, that was a huge mistake.
Oh yeah,
a huge mistake. Because at least Derrick Henry has some running lanes. He has none now. 0 running lanes now. So Bills and Dolphins. This is the one that everybody's talking about. are the Dolphins for real, or we know the Bills are for real, but are the Dolphins for real in this division game? We're gonna start with Chad. Where are you going with this one, Chad?
The Dolphins are for real, just not against the Bills. I'm going Bills.
All right. Reggie, where you going with this one?
I got to go with the Bills. I just don't see Bills defense making the same mistakes that what's the team that made last week? Baltimore. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
That's a new improved defense from the Bills. They're not going to let the cheetah get behind them. I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay. Jamal, what you doing here?
I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in it. I'm gonna say this, and it's not going to. I think the Dolphins stand a chance because they're going to play to try and stop the Bills' weapons, and I think this is we got to note this now. If Gabe Davis, if he doesn't play, I really truly believe the Dolphins have a legitimate chance to win this game, because I'm telling you, they're playing off an emotional high, and then they're going to use Cheetah a bit differently. We got to throw in that finally he couldn't be healthy for us, but Raheem Mostert is healthy and he's opening up that lane. I think they win this game by 3, the Dolphins.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna pick the Bills until otherwise, but I like what you just did there. I'm interested to see what that is. But the Gabe Davis thing is going to be interesting because he is trending not to play. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
It's not good for my fantasy team. It's not good.
I threw in a bonus just for fun because we got do your Colts rebound, Reggie?
You know what? I think the Colts rebound because it's in Indianapolis. I believe that Matty Ice is going to have his best game. And we know that the Chiefs defense has always been kind of shaky sometimes, especially on the road. I'm going to go with the Colts by 3, and I'm going to ride with it. 49ers at the Broncos, I think finally, my main man Wilson will get it together, and the Broncos will upset the 49ers.
Wow. Okay. All right. To our 49ers fans.
So I got the Chiefs in that Colts game. I think what you see differently with this Chiefs team this year is that since they don't have the cheetah anymore, they're not forcing the ball in one particular receiver's hand. They're spreading it out. And even Kelsey doesn't eat like how he used to eat previous years. So I got the Chiefs in this game by a landslide. The 49ers and the Broncos, I agree with Reggie. I think Russell Wilson gives the 49ers heck. I don't care what team he plays for now. I think some reason they give, like, Russell gives the 49ers like so much like trouble defending him. And I think that this is going to be a very difficult game. And I will say this, as a 49er fan, I want to win the game, but I won't be surprised if Jimmy throws the game away.
Wow. See, Mays, what you doing?
I got Chiefs 35, the Colts 0.
0? They don't score?
Well,
At home?
I hope so.
At home?
I hope so.
Wow. The shade. What about 49ers Broncos?
I'm going with Broncos on this one.
Okay. All right. Marco says that the Broncos coach will blow it. Okay. I'm going. Let me say this. I think from what I've seen through week 2, it right now it appears all roads to the AFC. Are y'all the AFC? What are y'all, the South?
Yeah.
AFC South. All roads to the AFC South division title lead through Jacksonville. That's what it looks like right now. So I'm giving the Chiefs. Right now.
Wow.
I'm just saying, bro.
Wow.
It looks bad right now. So.
Wow.
There's no shade. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at the facts, Reggie. All I'm doing is looking at the facts. Okay. And then the 49ers Broncos, I gonna have to agree, Reggie. I think everybody's putting a lot of saying Russell ain't got it no more and this, that, and the other. I don't believe that, man. I just think it's I think this new coach is trying to find his footing. And he hadn't found his groove yet. And he's got it. They got to build a trust, he and Russell Wilson. And they will. And I think this game will go a long way for that. So give me no, with all respect for our guests, give me the Broncos in a close one. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout at all.
Can I add something just about the league in general?
Absolutely.
And I think, Lloyd, you and I talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the 2 practices games, week 1, week 2.
Yes.
Because there's they're not playing together in the preseason.
There's no preseason. There's really no preseason now. Yeah.
So week 3 will give us a telltale sound on all these teams.
Who were the good teams, who were the bad teams. I agree.
Exactly.
1,000%. Yeah. All right. Obviously, I can't leave this out because it's probably going to be the game of the week as far as especially Monday Night Football. It's Cowboys, it's Giants. It's in Giants Stadium. We'll let the Cowboy and the Giants fan go last. We'll start with the great Reggie Love. Reggie Love, who you going with on this?
Trying to butter him up.
Here's the thing.
No
Here's
need
the
to butter
thing.
him up.
It's in New York. A backup quarterback on the road. New York by 7.
Wow. Okay. All right. What you doing there, Mr. Jamal Lee?
I'm gonna say that Michael Parsons is gonna win the game. Like not the Cowboys, but Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons is gonna win the game.
I think it's gonna be a really good game.
That's not a bad prediction, by the way.
I love these division matchups, especially Monday Night Football. Like everybody's gonna come to play. But I think the Cowboys edge out the Giants because of Michael Parsons.
Okay. All right. I would defer to the Cowboy fan first.
It'll be Cowboys 24-17.
24-17. You have lost your right. I can't believe you said that with a straight face.
Hey,
but
I just wanted to see the start, man.
This game comes down to the thing that is not being talked about enough. And that is Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari going to play? If they play and they are trending in that direction, Cooper Rush will not be allowed to sit back there against us like he sat back there against the Bengals. So I think if they play, we win the game. If they don't play, we win, but it ain't gonna be pretty. Because
do we got a spread so far on the game?
It was Giants by 1.
Wow.
And I think that's true. I don't think this is I think this is a pick'em game. But if Azeez and Azeez play, then Azeez and Kayvon play, then I think we got a really solid chance because all that comfort that he had against the Bengals goes out the window. So should be a interesting game, one that we'll get a chance to discuss on next week. Jamal, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, brother. You are welcome in our humble abode anytime, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. You got anything else you want to give? Tell the people how they can find your show.
Man, so we are on Buzzsprout. You can find us at all major podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google, all those major podcasts that you listen to. We are we for short 2G.A.M Sports Talk. And when I tell you, we talk about a gambit of things, sports, life in general, with a twist. We really kind of bring the culture and then sports together and collide it with a little bit of comedy. You can find us on Instagram too. Again, 2G.A.M Sports Talk.
Awesome. Really good show, by the way. Really, really good show. Love what you guys are doing over there.
Appreciate it.
All right. Reggie, Chad, who y'all shouting out this week?
Man, I'm gonna shout it right back out to Jamal, man. I appreciate you. Since you made picks, you should be back next week. Since you made picks, you should be back. I'm not the producer of the show, but since I
agree. I spoke to the producer. I agree.
And you should be
I
back.
agree, 100%.
Those picks. So
I
appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, fam.
Yes, sir. Piggybacking on everybody, man. Appreciate you, Jamal, for coming on and blessing us with your knowledge, man. Definitely appreciate you, man. Just shouting out everybody that listens, Regional Watch Gang, and just all you guys on the screen, man. Appreciate y'all, everything y'all do every day.
Absolutely, man. It's been a good night. We appreciate everybody. I think my echo is already giving out to Jamal. He gets our game ball for sure. And also, shout out to the Las Vegas Aces, who, man, balled out. I mean, wow. What a team, man. And Becky Hammond.
Hey.
Listen, Reggie, your Spurs won anyway.
Yeah. Hey, I know we're about to leave. Did y'all see Asia Wilson on the podium? She had too much to drink, brother. Did y'all
listen?
I love it. I love
it. Hey, that championship turn up is different. It's different.
I love it.
Old girl was like, hey.
Calm down, Asia. Calm down, Asia.
She earned the right, though. She earned the right.
She balled out.
Yeah, they balled out, man. They did their thing, man. So shout out to them. What a great season.
What better place to party than Vegas, though? Too?
Oh man. Can you imagine? That party was probably 24 hours long.
Right.
They probably still partying. Jesus. My goodness. Listen, it's been fun tonight. We love each and every one of y'all. Shout out again to the Rewatch Game. We appreciate y'all checking us out. And we'll be back to do it all over again next Wednesday. We love each and every one of y'all. Peace.
There's no mystery. Let's make history with the vibe. Oh, the song is 2 and 3. Add 1 more plus me into the vibe.